I am pleased to announce today that the city and Microsoft have signed a memorandum of understanding to expand the groundbreaking Digital Alliance.
Mayor Sylvester Turner announced that the city of Houston has expanded its groundbreaking Digital Alliance with Microsoft to innovate in big data, artificial intelligence, and the digital economy. Microsoft brings to Houston Accelerate, a new program designed to address economic recovery through skills both underserved communities and reskilling the many Americans impacted by COVID-19. The collaboration is intended to create new economic opportunity, close equity and digital skills gaps, and prepare a workforce for the 21st century. Through coordination with corporate partners, K-12 school systems, and higher education providers, Microsoft is developing a holistic, game-changing plan for professional development, supports, and addressing the equity gap across the community.
But we are just getting started.
Houston is home to the world's most important medical breakthroughs. It's the energy capital of the world that is developing a more sustainable plan for the future. We're the home of NASA and sending the first person to the moon. We are Heart City that Microsoft is helping to become a smart city. Let's learn more from Raamel Mitchell, Director of Citizenship and Public Affairs, Microsoft, and Dr. Cesare Wright, President, Kino-Eye Center for Visual Innovation.
So we had a fantastic announcement today with Mayor Turner and members of the community. And the announcement was about two things. One, there is signing or the renewal of our Digital Alliance, which is a partnership between Microsoft and the city to address economic development and recovery, to address STEM education and workforce and digital skilling, to address innovation. How do we partner together to drive innovation efforts throughout the city? And then we also announced Accelerate Houston. And Accelerate Houston is really exciting because it really doubles down in efforts related to digital skilling for a workforce. And our mission is to empower every individual and organization on the planet to achieve more. And so as we think about digital equity is just that. How do we provide opportunities, opportunities for access, opportunities for education, opportunities for skilling that will impact every community in Houston. And so this partnership really relies on the work that's being driven at the city, great work that's being done at the City of Houston itself, Office of Education, as you know, some of the work that's being done under Operation Connectivity with Gabby Rowe, the work that's being done with Space Center Houston and NASA Johnson Space Center, Kino-Eye Center, we have a great partnership there, University of Houston, and so many others, HISD, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention HISD, but so many others in this community coming together.
Sending a message to our children and youth in the city of Houston. What did you learn that you would like to share with young people, especially given the importance of today's announcement?
Yeah.
What is it that you want to tell them to inspire them, given all the challenges that they've been experiencing with the changes in the school experience?
You know, one of the things that I will say with that is that these times are challenging, but it's important to be resilient. It's important to innovate. It's important to look at the world and see how you can change it, how you can literally, not to overquote, but how literally you can be the change. And so if you're a student that's sitting back at home and you're wondering, well, I don't have access, or I don't have a computer, or I'm trying to figure out how, I think the question is, where can you get access to a certain degree? Are there libraries nearby? Are there programs that are being offered by your school? If you're in HISD, there are some fantastic programs now that they're looking at, and so I think that's key. The other piece here is I wish, I'm going to the heart of your question too, I wish when I was a kid I would have understood why, you know, complex math was relevant. I had no idea why algebra or calculus or differential equations or any of that would apply to my life. I had no idea how that would apply to my life. It wasn't until college that I understood that actually it's about solving problems. The better you are at solving problems, the better that you can adjust to the challenges and circumstances that you have, whether you're on the job, whether you're in your life. And many of us have had to solve a lot of challenges and problems over the last 3, 4, 5 months.
Today at City Hall, they announced the extension or expansion of the Digital Alliance between Microsoft and the City of Houston. At the center of that are some of the programs that I've developed with Microsoft, Microsoft Epic, which is for K-12 outreach and STEM education, and Microsoft FAST, which is future accelerated skills training. It's the workforce development and upskilling, helping people that have been impacted by COVID find new jobs, upskill, and really look at this as an opportunity to move to that next level job in technology.
Tell us, why is it important for young people to be interested in tech and STEM as future career options?
Every career is either STEM related or STEM enabled at this point. There's really nothing you can do. I had a girl that said, I want to be a makeup artist. How is that related to STEM? You apply augmented and virtual reality. Imagine you can be applying virtual makeup on a celebrity across the country, and she's got a mirror that's projecting the makeup onto her face. That's technology, and that's the future of makeup artists. Now imagine if it's saturated to that degree. Every student in the country right now needs to have a fundamental understanding of both STEM and the importance of STEM, and then find their own path. Why is it exciting and fun for them? Which is really where I try to come in, is to make it fun and make it connect to things that are interesting for every student. How does this relate to them personally?
So it's a fallacy to think that this is something separate and apart, because it's so interwoven into everything that we will be doing, correct?
Right. There's nothing that we do today that doesn't in some way connect to emergent technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, data science. If you create an app, you can make $1 million creating an app, but you know what's worth more than that app you created is the information and the data that you gather through that app. So pretty much everything we do, it's so intertwined with technology that students are really disadvantaged if they don't recognize that and prepare for it.
Now, Mr. Wright, I know you've described how it's important for young people to think creatively, and so much of being a maven in tech or being inspired in tech is through what's going on in a person's mind, not necessarily the hardware that they have in front of them. Can you explain that a little more clearly to our students and our families?
As a student, you may not have ever coded an Arduino before. You may not have assembled a robotics kit. But you know what? No matter where you're from, you've probably encountered problems. And in fact, the kids that are most in need of educational support are usually the kids that have encountered the most problems. And so I really try to encourage kids to not think about technology gratuitously. You're not just doing this to assemble something techie. You're trying to solve real world problems to make people's lives better, happier, safer, and more fulfilling.
In today's discussion and the announcement, there was a lot of there were many special comments about the importance of equity and also building community. Can you share how your programs advance educational equity?
Microsoft in the City of Houston, through the Mayor's Complete Communities and Microsoft's focus on digital equity, really targeted the most at-risk regions of the community and looked at who are the kids that most need these types of interventions and how can we bring this to them in a way that's going to resonate, that's meaningful, and that's accessible. You can try to force STEM education on kids. If it's not interesting for them, they're not going to do it. I learned to build computers because I like to play video games. And I was poor, so I lived in a trailer in Cut and Shoot, Texas. When our front door fell off, we couldn't afford to replace it, so we put a plywood board. So I didn't have the money to buy a computer. If I wanted to play games, I had to learn to build them. Probably the best piece of advice I could give anyone, a kid, an adult, is figure out who you are and unapologetically embrace who you are. Figure out what makes you tick. What do you like? What's fun for you? And how can you make a life out of that? And so much of that is about the empowerment, it's about education, but it's also about confidence and being confident in pursuing things that are interesting and fun for you. And when you do that, money follows, education follows, success follows. But figure out who you are and don't be afraid to embrace that.
Houston is our home. It's the city on the bayou that is being transformed to Silicon Bayou.